Puerto Rican kid, bald head, loves snakes, loves Blizzy, Sergio Chacon.
Yeah. What up, Pa?
Peace. Welcome to the DBS podcast. It's your boy Sergio Chacon, aka Blizzy Chacon. That shit's whack. I mean, it's always gonna be dirtbag shit podcast. The DBS podcast. Peace and welcome to the DBS podcast. It's your boy Sergio Chacon, joined by my friend, stand-up comic Geo Perez. What's good, Daddy-O?
What's going on, Papa?
Chillin', man. Yo, did you watch that versus battle with the Locks and Dipset?
Oh, hell yeah, bro. I'm just gonna say this. I was born and raised in Yonkers, so who you think I went for?
The Locks.
All day, baby. Yo.
Jada Kiss.
Yo, killed
Chic
it.
Luch.
Yo,
Styles P.
They saying that Jada's the new king of New York now. That's what I'm hearing. That's what they saying.
I've always knew he was lyrically sound. That's without a doubt. But I didn't know he was, and I knew he was charismatic, but I didn't know he was so damn funny.
Yeah.
Like his timing was impeccable. His stage presence was glorious, and he was clear and just so sharp.
Yeah.
Like no
He
one could
controlled
compete
that
with him.
stage. He owned that stage last night.
Yeah, the presence.
Him and Styles, Styles too, but like the way that the Dipset, the energy they came with, like they was all perked out, drunk, high, like there was like I could tell like Dipset was in the back, they were smoking, drinking, taking shots, and then like Styles P and Jada, they were like, taking wheatgrass shots and doing push-ups backstage. That's what it looked like.
Right.
Like you could tell right there with drugs and that juice life like make a difference.
You know what?
He
That's
winded.
an awesome observation, and I didn't even think about that. But you're probably right.
Yeah.
Absolutely, because Styles P recently started his own juicing company,
Yeah.
right?
They've been, it's for years now. I think like almost 10. They got one
Oh
in the
wow!
Bronx.
I didn't know he had it for that long.
Yeah, they had one in the Bronx, and I think they got one in Yonkers too. I forget where else, but I found out about that diet stuff through them. You know those hood DVDs, like the Smack DVDs back in the day? They were showing when they first opened up the juice, and they're like, yo, man, you got to drink these wheatgrass shots, man. It's like a Red Bull.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But them just fuck my stomach up, man.
Yeah.
Like a goose, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's bad. It's
Goose.
bad.
Yo, word up. Goose likes to shit. You fuck around. Geese, they shit like rabbits. I used to own rabbits back in the days. And it's like 90% of the time you're cleaning up shit.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's freaking annoying. So if I get my farm, I'm never owning geese. Plus they're mad aggressive.
Oh yeah.
Geese on some aggressive shit.
You
fuck with
the
their
Aflac? Niggas is crazy,
exactly.
bro. That niggas is insane.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, I spent like $150 already on Styles' website with like, there's black seed oil, the sea moss, like you get this whole thing and you feel the difference in drinking water with like oregano, like they really about that shit.
So you recently adopted more of a healthier lifestyle. Was that like the catalyst? Like, watching his stuff?
Yeah, watching them, because I never really knew about that.
Interesting
and I was
how
like,
we just started talking about them, and that was like
the
catalyst to like you changing a lifestyle to be more healthier.
Yeah. And then like that, then like the Netflix stuff started popping up. I'm like, yo, that's what these dudes was talking about with the juice and the this and that. And they were like, yeah, you can reverse certain diseases or diabetes with like just staying to this strict diet. I mean, it makes sense, man. If you put in if you got a car, you put in garbage gas, you're not changing the oil, it's gonna run down a lot quicker.
Absolutely.
You look at like your parents, you're from Puerto Rico, right?
Yeah. Well, my father was half Dominican too.
Oh, okay. So like they came from the country, they came from out there. Yeah. They were eating like healthy shit.
Yeah, everything was organic from the earth.
Yeah, they grew their own shit.
Nothing
and even
is processed.
Yeah, so it's like you see how they live and how healthy they are, and they just working. You never see them tired, and like it makes sense. So I was like, yo, we over here, you eat McDonald's, man, you want to go to sleep right afterwards.
I know, man. So the McDonald's, it is kind of like a drug in a sense where so you kind of tied into a memory, right? You eat food like that, like think about when you were a kid and shit, and then like the anticipation of like doing something naughty. You're like, yeah, I'm gonna have some McDonald's. Yeah. Then you eat that shit and you feel like a baked potato.
Yeah. Now as a kid, you didn't feel it. You know what I mean? You didn't feel it as a kid.
Because you're durable as a kid. You can sustain damage.
You're going to go sweat it out in the ball pit and shit. You know what I mean? You're going to go run it out.
As a kid, you can have the big-ass scrape on your knee, a
You don't even
bruised
get headaches.
elbow.
I don't remember having headaches as a kid.
That's so true.
And then like
going off of sugar water.
yeah,
and McDonald's.
We ate shit, and it's like if you grow like I grew up in Yonkers, like the first 14 years, so it was just like you grew up off a pizza, Bravo because they didn't have the Doritos. The quarter waters, they call them gutties. Where we was at? The little grenade looking, and it's literally just colored sugar water.
Yep.
That's not even juice.
It made me cough.
Dude, that shit
know,
gives you
it's not like-
heartburn. You drink it now, I'm burping up fire, bro.
Yeah,
it feels like
so
I drank
weird.
Henny.
It's because it's like loaded with fructose.
Yeah, that's all it is. It's
It had
colored
like an
fructose syrup.
aluminum top,
Yeah.
and I will puncture my buck teeth right on top and then squeeze it and like do it in one shot.
Yeah.
And then as I got older, my body would reject that. I would be like, it was like I took my first pull of a blunt. I was like,
Yeah.
it's not good. But yo,
Oh,
how
the
creative
pop
were we in
tops.
the hood? Because we used to cut the top off,
Yeah.
then put a rubber band on it,
Pea
and a
shooters.
balloon.
The pea shooters.
Yeah, you put
yeah.
like beans in there. You just- Those were efficient weapons.
Yeah, I seen a dude take, they take the little gandulas, the little green
Yeah.
beans, and then they just pop it up. But I seen a dude, this was when I was still in Yonkers, and he took a rock, and he hit a kid in his back. You would have thought, he jumped like he got shot. It was I started screaming. But kids were brutal. Yo, you ever play that game Hot Peas and Butter?
Yeah, with the belt.
Where you hide the belt?
Yeah.
Yo, I used to play that, and then one time we played with like this older kid, right? He had to be like, probably like 15, and we were probably like all 12.
Yeah, dog. And you know, you gotta understand, that's a jump. A 12-year-old to a 15-year-old is like, you start to frame out at 15.
He was built like I think his father was like a boxer. Like his father used to beat the shit out of him in front of people. His father was, and he was, and the kid himself was big. So I used to see that kid torture everybody
So
else.
he inherited those dirtbag ways.
Yeah, he took it out on us.
Those antisocial fucking behavior.
Yeah, like he was one of those kids that just like randomly, just like everybody's just chilling up, and he'll just come up to somebody and just start wanting to like choke him out or some shit, play
fucking
around.
annoying.
Yeah.
He's the type of dude you saw walking down the block and be like, yeah, I think my mother's calling me from the window.
Yeah, let me get the fuck up out of here
Yeah,
before I
for
end
real.
up like with my head against a window or something. But like we were playing, right? And if the people don't know the game, right? It's like everybody stays on one, everybody's like, there's this base. So you got the whole group standing there, and one person hides a belt or a switch, right? And then everybody that's on the base, they have to go find it, and the guy who hit it gives them clues as far as cold and warm.
Yeah,
warm,
hot,
cold, hot,
hot,
cold.
when you're close, cold.
Yeah. And then whoever finds it gets to whip whoever can't make it back to base, right? So one time he found the belt, right? And I was like the way to get back to base was like this little kind of brick hallway. And I was running towards that, and he already caught somebody in the corner. And like, you ever seen somebody like whip their kids where they hold their hand up?
Yeah.
And they're like hitting them like they did some crazy, like they stole something.
Yeah.
Yo, it literally, I stopped. I was running and I stopped because the kid was screaming. I remember his name, it was Russell beating the shit out of Billy. And I just heard Billy screaming like, ah, ah. And it was so bad I stopped. And then it hit me. I'm like, oh shit, he's gonna get me. And then I just fucking ran. I'm like, yo, after that, I'm like, I can't play. You just can't play with certain people, bro. Some people,
Yeah,
they
why
have
do I
childhood
imagine
traumas that
like
they want to
something
pass
about
on.
your face tells me that you probably haven't aged much. Like you probably look just like you do. So I picture you running and your curls like just bouncing, like straightening out. You were out so fast.
Oh, dude, I was like 5 feet tall. I didn't grow till I was like 18.
Oh,
I was a late bloomer. I hit puberty when I was like in like probably 10th
Yo, Russell
grade.
was a dirtbag, bro.
Yeah,
I had a
Russell's
kid-
probably in jail for like beating women, man. Like he
Yeah.
just has that.
Well, that's so he was treated that way, and he was
passed it
gonna treat his friends or kids that he played with that way. And to this day, he's still probably.
I mean,
behaving
yeah,
that
I don't
way.
know. But it's been so many years. You know, he might be like a
He might be
church counselor or
embarrassed about
something.
that,
Yeah, he
yeah.
might be in church right now talking about like that story how he whipped the
Right.
kid, and he ties it into a Bible story.
There was
When
this
Jesus
kid named
was
Macho.
whipped.
We used to call him LM because his father was named Macho. He was Little Macho, and he was the type of dude that if you like didn't do what he wanted to do, like if you don't want to play with him, he will punch you in your chest. And he was just big. And he like, I remember one time he caved me in my chest because me and my other friend saw him, and he was just annoying. He smelled. He was too rough. He did bad things.
Yeah.
And so when you saw him, we used to hide from him. And he knew that we hid from him, and he was like, "Come here." And I was like I was too close, but I wasn't far enough. So I just stood there, and he caved me in my chest. Boom! I was like, it was like I drank the quarter water juice again. But then he was
with the quarter water punch.
yeah, it was like, boom! My throat was like, And he was like, "You all right?" And I was like, "I'm good. I'm good."
You hit puberty after that. You got a deep voice after that shit.
Oh man! But then he was like, there was something caring about him. He was like a little older than us.
Yeah.
So then he was, like, if he had a quart of water, he would drink like half and be like, "You want some?"
He's spitting in.
Yeah, like, you want some? His
I
lips
ain't
are
brushed
all
my
red
teeth
from
for 5
it.
days. You
Yeah.
want this? Dude,
Fuck, man.
it's crazy now that like I'm older. Because like I said, I grew up in Yonkers. Like when I was 14, we moved to Long Island. So it went from we lived in a building in the hood to like the suburbs where we had a lawn. Like I didn't know what a lawn was until I was 14. I always called it the grass. Like people be like, "Yo, get off my lawn." I'm like, "The what? What's that? What's a lawn?" Like, what do you? Oh, the
You spit
grass.
sunflower seeds on it. What?
Yeah, I'm like, what the fuck is a lawn? And then like, so it's like more of my formative years were like Long Island.
Okay.
You know? And that's why I know words like formative, because you don't learn that shit in Yonkers.
Yeah, that's a Long Island word.
Yeah, my formative years. And yeah, so I got to see like both sides, you know what I mean? And I realized, man, they fucked up on both. You know what I mean? Because you still got crackheads in the suburbs.
Absolutely.
You still got toxic, energy out there. And especially Long Island. Long Island is a whole different world, bro. Like
What part of Long Island?
deep, like Suffolk County.
Okay.
Yeah, so super like rich white trash.
Yeah, a lot of cops out there too.
Oh yeah, bro. The cops out there, Suffolk, they make like 100,000 a year.
Overpaid.
After 5 years, bro. Dude, that's why they'll like plant shit on you. Like they're mad corrupt because they're trying to, get motherfuckers in jail and make money off of that. Because that's a business to them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially when you got private corporations running shit now. Because now they don't look at you as an inmate, they look at you as a customer. Oh, he's a returning customer. Welcome back, Geo.
Yeah,
We
welcome
saved
back.
your cell.
So when you got locked up, was that the relationship between like COs and like cops or whatever? Did they really like treat it like that?
Yeah, cop. I was my first arrest. I was 16, and I got lifted by my neck. I was in a hotel lobby. I got lifted up by my neck by two cops.
The guy's name was Russell.
Yeah, it was Russell's father. It was Russell's father and this other guy. And one of the dudes was Spanish. And I remember he goes like, when I told him my last name, he was like, "Yo, you're a disgrace to Hispanics." And I was like, "Yo, you're a disgrace to Hispanics." You know what I mean? And that's not the reason I got choked out. That was strike one.
Right.
The second thing, I was laughing with these girls, and then they were like, they couldn't arrest us. They were trying to, but they didn't have no proof.
So you were in a hotel lobby.
Yeah.
Just chilling like.
Yeah, we were drunk and we threw a rock at a car on the highway. We were like 16, we were fucked up. And now the people that we hit, they
From
were
the
like,
hotel?
No, we walked down.
Okay.
We walked down to the street and shit. And we threw the rock, and then the people came in, but they were like, it wasn't them. Like, you see, it's not us. So they held us. We were there for like 4 hours, it felt like 4 hours. It was probably like a good hour. We were there practicing for Sweet 16. And then like I got tired to the point, I'm like, yo, like, why y'all holding us here for this long? Can we leave? Like, they're saying it's not us. And then the white cop gets in my face, and then he says, he's like, I was talking to one of the girls, and I was laughing, like, just joking, but about something else.
Yeah, 16-year-old shit.
Yeah, 16-year-old. We've been sitting there for an hour, bro. We're bored. And he comes up, he's like, "Oh, you think this is funny?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I think it's funny. I'm just wasting our time." And next thing I know, his hands was on my neck. The Spanish cop was talking to somebody. It's like he dropped his pad and his paper and just grabbed me by my jacket. And next thing I know, I'm up in the air, and then they just slammed me on the car. Boom. Next thing I know, I felt one of them knee me in my ass, knee me down. I felt like I lost my virginity that day. That's how hard he hit me. And I'm sitting there on the
Straight
hood of the
assault,
car.
bro.
Yeah. I'm 16 years old. These are grown-ass men. Like, I could have sued them. I didn't think about that. That's all was on camera. But my mom was like, "Oh, you stupid. You got what you deserve. That's what you wanted. You want to get arrested. There you go." And, I had white parents were like, "Oh my God, this is an outrage. We're gonna, you know what I mean?" Those cops would have probably got suspended for like 2 days or something.
Yeah, yeah.
And
It is interesting how old school parents may condone that sort of behavior. Yeah, you deserve to get your ass whooped. You act like a dirtbag.
Speaking of the devil, that's my calling me right now. Speaking of trauma, speaking of childhood trauma.
Your mom was like that, hitting you up.
Yeah. That was like, my mom was like, she was strict to a certain point, but like she knew she couldn't, like after a certain age, like once I was like 13, 14, it was just like she couldn't control me. And then I thought about it then, I'm like, yo man, I'm 14, I can do what I want. And I look at a 14-year-old now, and I'm like, oh, no, fuck that. And having a daughter now, I'm like, nah, fuck that. You ain't doing shit until you're 18. You can't leave my house. Like, now that I'm older, I realize that shit. Even with, like when you're young and you see, like, a kid, like you said, he smell, he might be dirty. You might not, like, he might be going home, and they don't even got hot water. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, as I got older and started going, like, certain friends' house, and I didn't put it together, I'm like, yo, why did mom look like that? And then as I got older and I was around drugs, I was like, oh, they on drugs. Like, and I would be like, yo, how can they do that? How can they be like that? And then I got into shit and I was like, oh, like, you know what I mean? I've always seen both sides of the fence. And it's always like, it gave me a better perspective on things because, you know what I mean? Like, I used to sell drugs and I would look down on drug addicts. And then I became a drug addict eventually. And then it was just like, oh shit, this doesn't, you know what I mean? Like, this is not, like, I want to do this shit. I was trapped in that shit. And then it opened my mind up. I'm like, oh, damn. Like, that humbled me a lot. Being like, because I was like fucked up for like, I say like a good 4 or 5 years.
Well, what was your drug of choice?
Opiates, bro.
Opiates.
Started with perks. I got cut when I was 18. I got my neck sliced, my hand sliced.
That was like like a fight?
Yeah, it was a street fight.
Where at?
This was out in Quorum. This was out in Long Island.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was, we fought. The dude pulled out a box cutter. Ended up slicing me.
It's a clean cut. It's a clean scar.
Yeah. I got lucky.
It's barely noticeable, but but it's like straight down. It's not all. I have a friend who was cut in his face, and it must have been a rusty blade because it's like or either it was a rusty blade on his face,
or the doctors did a shitty job.
The doctors
stitching
did a dirtbag job.
I got lucky, bro, and they told me that. But like,
I mean, that could have been an artery, man.
Yeah, they said that. They're like, yo, they're like, it just cut the top layer of the skin. He goes like, if he would have hit the next layer, it would have punctured the jugular. And he goes like, you're lucky too because we got a plastic surgeon that's gonna stitch you up. And what he did was he put a little bit of stitches. He only put like 20. I had more in my hand, and it's like half.
So you
the
got
size.
cut in your neck and your hand.
Yeah, I tried to when I was grabbing the knife, and I got like a few little cuts throughout. But these were like the main ones that needed stitches. And then they were
what
like,
year was this?
It had to be 2004.
Wow.
I was 18. I think I just turned 18. And,
I feel like from 98 to like mid 2005, 2006, that was rampant. Like $150s. Like I feel like every other. I feel like a lot of people our age. I think I'm a little older than you, but I feel like I saw a lot of people, with those with those scars and stuff. It was within like that 6 to 8 year bracket.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I remember it was I was in 6th grade, so this had to be like 98 or something, 97, 98. And they were like, "Oh, this Halloween, don't wear red because the bloods from LA are out here now, and they're cutting anybody who's wearing red." And it was like, "Oh, you had to wear red." It was like a red flag. You were covered, and you just heard that, and it was almost like a boogeyman story for kids. Like, "Oh, don't wear red."
Yeah.
And like in my
then you heard
neighborhood,
on the news and shit too.
Yeah. And then I remember by the time I was like in 7th grade, there was like this block right next to me that I went there.
All in Long Island.
No, this is in Yonkers. This is still in Yonkers. Yeah. This is before I moved to Long Island. And I remember going to this neighborhood because my cousin was talking to a girl down the block. And then we get there, and it's probably like 40 deep. And there's mad people on the block, but there's probably at least 40 people there with like red bandanas on their head. And I'm just looking like, I think I was like probably 11. I was like, yo, we about to get jumped. Like that's what I felt like because I didn't know what the fuck. I've never seen no shit like that before.
Yeah, except like a uniform.
Yeah, like I seen people chilling on the block, like just like regular shit like that. But when I saw the flags, everybody was wearing flags. I was like, it was like a different vibe. I'm like, oh shit, this is crazy. And then like later on, like after I moved, like my neighborhood became like a bunch of Crips was over there. My cousin was fucking with that shit too. And then like the shootings went up over there. So like there was probably like shootings here and there. It wasn't that bad. A lot of fights, a lot of crackheads and shit, but it wasn't like dangerous with people getting killed. But during that time, when like it was just like Crips and then like the Bloods, like one block over, that's all you heard. Like I remember I go visit there and you would see nobody out, and it'd be like 2 cops parked across the street, and they're like, yo, they don't let nobody hang out in front of the street now, because that's how bad it got.
Wow.
Yeah. So my mom made the right move by moving to Long Island. Like, cause this was like almost like 2-3 years after we left. It got that bad.
So the cut happened later, years later. How that transpired? You were out like clubbing or some shit?
Nah, we kind of went looking for it. we kind of met up to fight somebody. But the thing was, I used to hang out with some dirtbags, and there was something he kind of lied to me of who he was gonna go fight.
What was this at? Was this also in Long Island?
Yeah, this is Long Island. This is Long Island. Because I was out there from like 14 to 20s and 30s, and we get there, and next thing I know, my boy's like, "Yo, watch out for this dude," and I'm like, "Wait, what? Who?" And then it just blew up. Next thing I know, we just fighting for probably 2 hours.
What?
Yeah, we didn't stop. We just kept. You know how you start and then you start talking shit, and then it just starts up again, and then.
Where was this at?
This was in the hood in Long Island. This was like in a bad neighborhood. So people would just watch it, but nobody calls the cops.
For 2 hours?
Yo, dude, it felt like forever.
That's like watching half of Apocalypto.
Yeah. Literally, it felt like Apocalypto, bro.
We were just talking about that movie
everywhere.
Before we put the record button on.
Yeah, Apocalypto. Yeah, dude.
That's a great movie, by the way.
Classic.
I would watch that movie even if I was on Channel 9 with the commercials.
Yeah, shout out to Mel Gibson. We still love you, even though you hate Jews.
even though you're a little odd.
Yeah,
you're a little odd, to say the least. Even though there hasn't been much controversy surrounding him.
Yeah.
Stay that way. Keep it that way.
Because I don't think he's making movies right now. Is he making movies?
Oh, I have no idea.
Yeah, man.
Yo, 2 hour fight. You know what's funny?
Yeah. We left and went back because we lost our keys.
Yo,
we
2
lost
hour
our
fight.
keys.
You went home, took a nap.
Yeah, basically.
Came back.
Yeah, we went back and we were supposed. They were like, yo, people were like mutual people were trying to squash it. Like, yo, just try to dead it. And I was like, yeah, let's dead it in the morning. And like, no, let's get it done.
Let's sleep it off.
Yeah, I almost felt like it might have been a setup. And then we go, because the thing was, we lost the keys. We left our cell phones. We had the little Sprint flip phones back then. We left those in the car, and my boy lost the keys during the fight. And we felt like one of them probably picked it up. You know what I mean? So we were basically stuck there. So that's why it lasted that long. Because we'll stop and talk. It would just be riffing, like just going back. And then next thing I know,
Wait, tell me. So how many were involved?
It was three and two.
So it would be a fight, more talking shit.
Motherfuckers be winded, or they be grappling.
That's crazy.
And then it just be 2-on-1 here. But one of the dudes.
Would you guys take water breaks? Like, hold up, I need some water.
That's what it felt like. Yeah, hold on. We had the trainers come up, put the stool next to us. Like, yo, Geo, man, you're gonna have to raise that arm a little bit. Raise that arm, man.
That's hilarious. That's pretty fucking funny. That's wild, bro. So in the midst of all this shit's going on well into like an hour or whatever, that's when one of the guys finally pulled out a blade?
Yeah, when we went back, that's when he pulled out the blade. But I didn't see the blade until I felt something cold hit me. If you can see right there, I have a little
barely.
Barely.
You got a little
scar, a little speck. I saw something
behind
kind of like nick me, right? And I saw the shine of the light of the outside lights. It was at nighttime. I saw something glimmer. And that's when I realized, he got something in his hand. So he was already, once I saw that, he was holding on to my flight jacket. Remember those, old school?
Yeah.
I threw the flight jacket over my face and my neck. That's all I remember thinking. I remember somebody told me, that, yo, somebody's gonna cut your face, cover it with your jacket or something. I remember that just coming into my brain at that moment. And I just threw my shit over my face and my neck. And he cut me through the jacket.
Holy shit.
So I feel like that saved me.
Yeah, it probably saved from worse damage.
Yeah, like he probably could have. I feel like he would have probably killed me because when I looked at my jacket, you saw the cut that went through, like it cut through, and it just hit me. So I feel like if that jacket wasn't there, like clumped up by my neck, it would have just. He would have made more contact and it would have been over.
Holy shit, man.
Or probably hit me in the face or something.
Yeah.
So, and the thing
is, I've met you a half dozen times. I've never noticed that. So on your face, it's like that everyone sees your face. And it's like it changes the trajectory of how you perceive the world, how people see you. It's not fair, but you got it on your face.
50, yeah.
It's hard, man. You'll deal with it, but it's such a different thing.
Yeah, they look at you because they look at this guy's dangerous.
Yeah,
it could have been from a skating accident. You know what I mean? And they look at that guy.
I know a guy who fell off an elevator shaft. We used to go elevator surfing. I never did that. The older guys used to go elevator surfing. Yeah, that's what the news calls it. There's kids with elevator surfing, but they were riding the elevators in the projects. We used to wedge the door a certain way, open it. I forgot how they manipulated it, but ride up and down the elevators, and he was hopping from one elevator to the next, and he missed one, and the wire from the heavy duty wire rope that would lift the elevators up and down was sticking out, and it cut him.
Ooh.
Yeah, so it was like this. It looked like a $1.50, but
$1.50.
everyone probably thought he was sliced from some, street shit. But he just missed the step on a fucking, riding on top of elevators, cut his face, broke his back. Awful. It was an awful,
So they're on top of the elevator, outside on top.
Yeah. So they would manipulate the door somehow, and he would ride on top of the elevator. Then there was another elevator, and you could jump from elevator to elevator. And he missed one, and he fell like 3 stories.
Yo, and they say like white people be into crazy shit, but people in the hood be doing some wild shit too.
Yeah,
like, that's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, that's elevator, and that's the name that the white people gave it, was elevator surfing.
These were white people that were doing it?
No, that was on the news when it became like a problem.
Yeah,
because one kid actually died.
Oh yeah,
and so it was like a thing back in the early '90s. And they were like, "Oh, these kids are elevator surfing," but no one ever caught in the hood. No one caught them. Like, "Yo, we're just riding the elevator,"
Yeah, I think like the worst I did was the elevators. Like, if you didn't remember corners, if you weren't in a corner, they could just punch the shit out of you.
Smashed you in a corner.
Yeah. So if you in an elevator with like 8 people, 4 people were just gonna get punched or until they took that corner. It's just stupid shit.
So stupid, yeah, man.
But
as soon as you
fun.
walked in the elevator, you were trained to go in the corner, hold
go in the
yourself
corner.
down.
Yeah, because as soon as somebody else corner, you're gonna see just fists flying.
Yeah, so it was ugly. So after you got cut, was that the end of the fight?
Yeah, pretty much. That was it.
So he probably bounced right after that.
Yeah, and I left because in my mind I was like, oh shit, I'm about to die. Like, I wasn't thinking like, oh, if you get hit in the jugular, it takes 10 seconds and you're gone. I thought like you just bleed out slowly, and so my whole mind, I'm like, yo, I don't got a cell phone, and luckily this is back when there still was payphones. Because I knew that where there was a payphone, it was probably like probably like 5-10 minute walk, but it was like a 3-minute run. So like I go straight, and then I stop a little bit winded. My shirt was ripped up, so I had it wrapped around my hand, and I was holding my neck with my flight jacket on. So I got my flight jacket on, I got blood, I got a shirt covered in blood, no shirt. I'm like 18, so I look way young. If you see me on my license, like, holy shit, you're a fucking baby. I was trying to stop cars. I was like, yo, help. Like, yo, give me a ride. Motherfuckers was ready to run me over. Like, nobody stopped.
A dude leaking.
Yeah, they're like, oh, fuck this shit. This motherfucker's about to, So I was just like, yo, stop. And then I finally got to the payphone, and I called, and the cops was probably there within like a minute. The lady was like, don't get off the phone yet. She was probably on the phone for 2 minutes before a cop was right there. And then already right off the bat asking a million questions, but I don't know, man. It should just happened too fast. I don't know what happened. And then the detectives came to talk, and I fell asleep on them. They're like, yo, so who did it? And I was like, yo, man, these perks, man. I was fucking painkiller. And that's how I got addicted.
So I was gonna ask, man, was that like your first experience with like Percocets and
morphine, all that shit? That's because I used to sell pills. Like, my friends were popping pills like from like 15,
so you were selling
16.
them, never?
No, I was scared of them because I was like, I don't know, because like if you take too much, it's too late to find out. You know what I mean? Or if you didn't take enough, it takes a half hour, so you just never know.
And pills, the concoction of like pills and alcohol is like a really deadly recipe. Yeah. Like mixing that shit.
Or mixing other pills with other pills.
Oh my God, that's why a lot of people go wrong, right?
Yeah, when they start mixing the Xanax in.
Man.
The fentanyl now was fucking everybody up.
One dirtbag shit I used to do when I used to get high on coke, I would, on rough nights, I would take like a Tylenol PM. That's not good. Like, your heart rate is, so I would be so desperate. My heart rate would be like, do, and it'd be like 7 o'clock in the morning, and I would just want to come down from it. And I remember, like telling myself, I'm gonna change my drawers, make sure if I die, like I don't have like shitty drawers. Like, I'm gonna clean up the apartment a little bit, Like, I would think about that, like,
leave a little note.
Yeah,
like, yo, it looks like you committed suicide.
For real, man.
Yo, the worst, yo. You know how many nights I'll sit there, I'll be in my bed, and my heart's like, da, and I'll be like, yo, God, I swear to God, this is the last time I do coke. Please, just let me survive. Don't give me a heart. Like, I don't want to die right now, God. Let me make it to the morning. And it's like 6 months later.
Yeah, I mean, it's just it never ends.
Yeah.
It never ends. So, it never ends.
Yeah.
Like, you know how many times I would try to convince myself, okay, I'm just gonna get high on the weekends. That shit never worked, right? So you try to rationalize with yourself. I even told myself, I'm gonna get high once a month. I'm gonna treat myself once a month. That's 12 times a year. That ain't shit.
Yeah.
I never did that. I never was able to do it.
It's like 12 times in a month. It ends up being 12 times in a month.
Exactly. That's what. Or I would tell my, there was so many scenarios that I created in my head. Oh, I'm gonna have one drink and I'll be home by 1 a.m. And then 1 a.m. turns into 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m. And then like I'm at work or with a fucking suit and tie, bloodshot red eyes.
The worst. Oh, that's the worst, man. Like the thing, I was lucky that like coke speeds was never my thing. I realized I was more of a downer person, but I sold coke, so I would do it once in a while. But when I did it, I would fucking do it, bro. It'd probably I'd probably sniff an 8-ball by myself. And like that's what like I wouldn't stop because I ran out. I would stop because my heart was hurting. I'm like, yo, my shit's gonna explode if I keep going. And I was like, always 130 pounds, so that was never good. And I'm sniffing with somebody who's like 230, smoking cigarette after cigarette, lighting one with the next one,
nasty.
Telling your life story and shit, driving around, drinking beers, looking for hookers and shit,
it's just
hitting
wild.
up back page holes, trying to find some young like cokehead bitch. Oh, you trying to chill? Like,
you want to party,
worst, bro? It was just so dark, bro. I swear to God, coke is like fun for like the first 15 minutes. And then after that, it's just
it's disgusting.
Yeah.
You would partake in behavior that that is so disgusting that you wouldn't even believe that you're capable of.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't even talk to people. You're like, your voice changes.
Can't even make eye contact.
Yeah. I know. Don't forget the time. I mean, one of the many times. I was at a bar called La Nina, and I decided to get high by myself, right? And I was talking to a couple. They were a Dominican couple, I remember. And the guy was like nice, and he was looking at me. Like, I was just chewing his ear off, and he was like this, like when someone's had enough, they just start squinting.
Yeah.
He's like that. And then his girlfriend looked at me.
Getting too bright.
Yeah. His girlfriend looked at me. She took a shot, and then she went to her boyfriend. She went, I fall. She went, I fall. She like had enough.
Yeah.
And for my white audience members listening, I fall is a Spanish term when you just think something is so gross. Fall. Disgusting.
Yeah.
And she gave me a sharp one. She went, I fall.
Yeah,
and then she went to the bathroom and she tried to dodge bachata with him, and I was just looking at them like that.
You guys don't want to be my friends?
I was like,
Dude, I used to walk around, like if I was sniffing coke by myself, this is like in Long Island, and it'd be like 3 a.m, and I'm like, yo, I don't want to sit in my house. So I start walking around, smoking cigarettes in the neighborhood, hoping to bump into somebody. Or I'll walk to my friends, because not everybody had phones back then. So I just walk to my friend's house, hoping I see a light on, and be like, yo, you trying to talk? You want to talk? I need to talk to somebody. I need to tell somebody about when I was 13 and smoking weed and this and that.
You ever been so high with a bunch of motherfuckers and everyone's trying to get a word in, and then you facilitate, like you host the cipher of shit talking, and you're like, you go next. Okay, we're gonna go this way. We're gonna go clockwise. You go, and you're telling.
It ends up being a bunch of little groups. Everybody's just. But then when it's time to take the pastas, everybody comes back around.
Exactly.
Back around.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Oh my God. I think when I would. Either way, it's dark. Like when you're around people, it doesn't get as dark soon. But when you're coked out and you're by yourself with your thoughts, it's fucking weird, man.
It always ended up the same way. It always ended up dark. Like it never felt great. The recovery from that, like what it does to your body, the cigarettes. We talk about, I like the analogy you use with like cars, what you put in your system, right? So it's like, if it's a car, you put some good gas in there, you change the oil, change all the different fluids, you rotate the wheels. If you're not doing that, right, if you're putting shit in there, everything just starts to fall apart. Same thing with your body. You do coke, you're going to want to smoke cigarettes. You're going to want to drink. You're going to want to eat greasy food the next day. Your body's not getting the proper rest. You're going to interact with the dirtiest of dirt bags, people that you would never socialize with, all types of dark, And the thing is, one thing that it does, and I've said this time and time again, drugs like that just rob you of your confidence. Because now the next day, you can't even look at people in the eye. Nevertheless, I mean, even... when you're high, you can barely...
done. I'm like this. I'm talking to people like I can't make eye contact. Or if I'm doing it, I'm like, yo, are my eyes wide open? Should I squint my eyes a little bit while I'm talking?
Yeah, you become mad subconscious.
Is my nose stuffy? And I'm scared to go when I'm around people because I'm like, yo, I'm trying to catch this drip, man, but I'm around too many people, so I'm just sitting there like...
You become...
I'm putting my head in the towel, going in the bathroom.
Yes, it's so whack. And there's nothing worse than being high. I mean, there's a lot of things that are worse than this, but when you're high around sober people, Like people that don't get high. I remember I was with my boy Giannis Pappas. He one thing I gotta say, I've known him for a long time, and he's always kept it with 100 with me. One time he looked at me, and this is the early stages of Mauricia.
Yeah.
It's a character that took off, and my daughter was like just about to be born. And I was like all stressed out. My wife was pregnant, and we were at a fucking sold out show in Brooklyn, like a fucking. This one, Mauricio was at his height, like two shows, 400 people each, and I just decided to sniff that before my set, and he looked at me. We were in the green room, and he's like. He went like that with his jaw. And he's like, yo, you on that yayo? And I was like, nah. Like the entire night, I'm working with this dude. Yeah. I'm hiding from him. Yo, he employed me. Like he's giving me money for this spot. These are not guest spots. He's paying me money to set this shit off. And I'm over here clicking and clacking with my jaw, not able to give eye contact. I think I went on stage and I said some shit along the lines like, yo, I'm gonna be a father, like all high, like whack. And there's probably footage, some grainy footage floating around the internet. Someone took I remember someone had a video of it, and I was like, yo, can you remove that?
Can you take that down?
Can you take that down?
It would be, look at this, Yo, one time I took Molly. That's the worst, being high at work like that, or having to go to work the next day after like a long night. I felt when I was in Alabama, I did this dude gave me Molly, right? I never done Molly before. And
that's the purest form of ecstasy, they say, ecstasy, MDMA.
Yeah. So like I took ecstasy before, so I'm like, oh yeah, this shit.
So what's the difference? Good. Is this it's cut with different things, ecstasy?
Yeah, ecstasy is mixed with a bunch of different shit, and each pill is different. Like you get one, like the stamps back then, they had the sunflowers, the triple stack, double stacks.
Yeah. I remember I had some good times off of ecstasy the first couple of times, and then it was like
almost like coke. The come down is like a
I never had a real bad come down. I would sleep like a hamster though.
Yeah, the
long
next day,
periods.
12 hours straight, sleeping.
Solid.
Yeah, I'm waking up at night. Like
mouth open on my back, legs.
Just your body feels weird, your brain feels weird,
like foggy.
Yeah, so Molly's not supposed to have that. Like it doesn't have that because of all the extra stuff. So I take it, right? And then next thing I know, I tried to go to sleep, but I couldn't. So I'm like, fuck it, I'll just keep going and go to work like that. And now I work at a Honda plant in Alabama. Like I'm making parts, this big ass machinery, oils, loud, bad, you know what I mean? I probably got lung cancer from working there. And next thing I know, I'm on this machine where you got to put blades in this thing that's spinning, right? And I'm sitting over like shaking like this.
Oh, God.
Like trying to stay. And I'm just like, fuck. And I'll go in the bathroom. Like I can't even make eye contact with people. I'm avoiding all eye contact. People trying to talk to me. And I'm just like this, like, I don't feel good. I'm just hungover. But like I went on lunchtime.
It felt like hell, right?
Felt like hell. Then I leave work. This is on a Monday, right? I leave work. I go home. And I still kind of feel like a little weird.
Like off.
Yeah, and then I call my friends. I called these two girls. They needed bud, and they came through. And when they were there, they were looking at me and shit, and like, are you all right? And I'm like, nah, man, I took Molly last night. And they're like, oh, I didn't da-da-da. I was like, I still got some left. I still got a lot left. Yeah, I go show them that shit. They're like, yo, this ain't Molly. This is crystal meth.
Holy shit.
Yeah, so I already stopped taking it before I left work. And I gave it to them. Like, oh, we'll take it. And I'm sitting over there tweaking. I'm like, yo, I'm like, damn, yo, what the fuck? Bro, I didn't sleep for 4 days after that.
Oh, my God.
Even though I stopped, it took 5 days for me to go to sleep. And I remember by like the third day.
That's that crank.
Yeah. And like, this was like the Valentine's Day was like towards the end of it. I haven't seen my girl in like 2-3 days. She came through and I had to pretend like I was sick. But meanwhile, like I'm just trying to smoke myself to sleep and can't. And then I remember at one point I was like, yo, I haven't had a funny thought in my head. Like, yo, am I stuck like this now? Like I thought I was stuck feeling like that. Even when I could fall asleep, even when I started going to sleep after a couple days, my brain just seemed completely off. And then like probably the week after, that's when I started comedy. Like
wow.
Yeah, the week after that. Like, and I was leading. I was like, "Yo, I'm doing my
you
first."
Started in Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
How were you received there? How did you start there? Was it like open mics?
Yeah, open mics.
Oh wow.
Open mics. They had like maybe 2-3 open mics a week, but you would have to go to either Huntsville or Birmingham.
Okay.
If you wanted to get like 3 mics a week or maybe 4.
What inspired the move to Alabama? And at this time, were you doing the opiates and stuff? Or
No, I just came home, I was doing 2 years. I did like back-to-back Bulletin County out there, and I came
And
home.
what were the offenses? Drugs or?
It was
Like,
they
why were you
found a
getting
gun
locked up?
they found a gun in my house, so they gave me
In Alabama?
no,
Or
this is in New York. This is
Oh
in
wow,
Alabama,
that's a big deal in New
yeah.
York.
Yeah.
Was
Dude,
it
if I
loaded?
would have got caught, nah, but it was in my house, so it was a non-violent felony.
Okay.
Because it wasn't loaded, it was in my house. If I would have got caught in the street with that shit, I would have been doing 3 years easily, especially with my record. And then I had.
That's interesting. So if you get locked, if you get caught with a gun in your house, it's not as
still a
serious as
felony.
having it on your person outside.
Yeah.
You hear the court jargon? On your person.
Yeah, on your person. That's literally law talk, bro. I studied gun laws while I was in there, bro. I was in there for fucking 18 months, and I studied every fucking gun law. Because you know, you got a shitty lawyer, you feel like he's not doing a good job, and then, you know, you're trying to find out everything. Like,
Yeah, I
yo,
mean, you know, you
my
got a
case
legal
could do
aid
this.
lawyer.
No, I didn't have a legal aid. It's just my mom. I wasn't selling drugs at the time, so I didn't really have money. You know, I already had retired from selling drugs. So, like, my mom basically paid for the lawyer.
Yeah, you
So
still
she
know
got
what
like
you
a 50
get, man. It's a roll of
Yeah.
the dice.
I mean,
You
I
get
probably would
some-
have got better with legal aid. That fucking piece of shit, man. He set me up, bro.
Wow.
Yeah, he set me up, bro. Like, the judge, I found out later on, the judge knew one of the dudes. Because this is not a joke. I got one of the charges was assault with a deadly weapon. The deadly weapon, a snowball.
How the fuck?
All right, so I was at a bar. My brother got into it with the bouncers and shit, and I was trying to calm it down. And then one of the bouncers tried to like mush my face. So I like kind of pushed his hand away, and somebody pulled me back. So I literally, there was like a mound of, you know, it was February. I grabbed like a chunk of ice or snow or whatever, and I just threw it into the bar. Boom! And it hit a mirror. The mirror came down and cut his ear.
Oh shit.
But they kept obviously the owners and the cops didn't show the angle of that happening. They just showed the angle of me throwing the snowball. And they said that the snowball, well, first they told the cops that I threw a bottle at him. Like, oh, he threw a bottle at his head.
That sounds a lot more
Dangerous, yeah.
appropriate for the story.
Yeah, he can't be like, oh, he grabbed a chunk of snow on the side of the road. And they gave me assault with a deadly weapon. And at the thing, they said I hit him with a block of ice. Like, first off, a block, it wasn't even a square shape. It's not a block. With rocks in it. No, they said a
when you
ball
said a block of ice,
with rocks in it, with stones in it or something. like I took it from the bar. Like there was a fucking shot, like one of those water slides.
A big Piragua fucking block that you fucking pour rocks in.
Yeah, one of the things that they pour the liquor down and you just take a shot. One of those shot
Yeah.
slides. Like I picked it up and slammed it on his head. That's what they made it seem like. So it was like some Final Destination type shit, like type of luck where it hit the thing and it cut him, and they only showed the angle of me throwing it at him. So they gave me assault with a deadly weapon, which is a violent felony. It's a violent D felony. So I got hit with that.
Isn't it crazy that, I mean, when you listen to the law, like the breakdown of what you did and your emotional state at the time, you just thought, this guy tried to mush you.
Yeah.
You got mad. You fucking got a snowball and threw it at the car. And
I did what a 13-year-old would do.
Yeah.
I threw a snowball. Just fucking
But
mad.
when you hear that shit out loud,
Yeah.
I'm surprised they didn't put assault and robbery in there. I mean, robbery, and so just to spice it up a little more.
The jokes people fucking did on me in jail. One guy was like, yo, stop telling people you're in here for throwing a snowball. Just tell them about your gun charge. Stop mentioning that other shit, bro.
Wait, Tom. So
Yeah.
So we got the snowball charge,
Yeah.
and then so when they went to your house, they found the gun.
No,
It was all
the
part of
gun
same
thing was before.
okay. Why were they in your house?
It's just, my brother called the cops. I was
Okay.
getting in, you know what I mean? I don't want to get,
Yeah, I get
don't
it,
want
I
to talk
get
about that story. It was like, dark time in my life. He ended up calling the cops. He was worried.
Oh, I got it.
They
So
went into the house.
the cops found the gun in your
Yeah,
apartment.
they
That was a
came
separate
in,
issue. Got
they
you.
saw the gun, and then it kind of warranted
Saw the
it.
gun. Well, you just had that shit on the table.
It was in the room. It was in the closet. I didn't really, you know what I mean? Like, the cop came in, I wasn't ready. I didn't think the cops were coming there. Because it was just me and him in the house. Like,
So it's just a time where back-to-back shit is going on. The gun
it was
charge.
bad. I was already fucked up. I think I was taking Suboxones at the time. Like,
Suboxone is a drug to
Worse.
wean off of people,
But it's
to wean
worse than
people
heroin.
off of heroin.
worse than heroin, bro.
Wow.
I went through like
How
a
was
month
that?
of withdrawals from Suboxone. A month of that shit, bro.
So
I
why
didn't think
not
it was
just?
gonna end.
That's crazy that people use that to get off a.
Yeah. It's easier to just stop doing heroin. Because heroin, you'll be done in like a week. You'll be fine. Like 2 weeks, you're kind of sleeping.
So your judgment is cloudy. You're going through all this shit.
Yeah, like I'm breaking up with like me and my baby mother. The shit's almost on its last leg. So it was just like a bad time, and then that happens. So I sat up for probably like 6 months, and they're like, "All right, we're gonna let you out. We're gonna sentence you to this. We're gonna let you out, and we're gonna let you out until you get sentenced. We're gonna give you some time to go home." And then in that little gap, I got arrested again. That's when I caught the snowball. I went out for my brother's birthday party for his birthday, and then that snowball shit happened. So when I went back in, they were like, "Oh, you're just a fucking idiot." And then they hit me with the 2 years for that shit. Which, again, like, people like, "Yo, a gun charge, you should have got more." Blah, blah. I'm like, "Yo, they found this shit in my house. It's a non-violent." And they still hit me. They're supposed to downgrade the charge when I copped out. They still hit me with 2 violence. And I was trying to fight it because I don't want a violent felony on my record because I can't even do Uber Eats, like, because of my record. So, like, mad jobs I can't do. And they literally got me as, like, a violent person because I threw a snowball and had a gun.
And that's still on the record?
Yeah.
Fuck, man. Will time lift that, or there's nothing?
10 years. If I stay out of trouble for 10 years, I can go reopen the case, and they'll basically rub it, like wipe it from my public record. So like jobs won't see it, but if I go apply for the army or government job, they'll always see that shit. Because even now, like my charges when I was 16, like I stole a car when I was 16, that's expunged from my record. And then I had a drug sale when I was 18, which I was still considered a minor. It's like once you're 19, now you're an adult. So that got wiped off that's expunged. But like the army, I tried to get into the army and the Marines, and I was like, "Yo, I want to sign up." I was like 18. I was like, "I want to do something with my life." They're like, "Oh, you want to?" I went with my boy, and he just kind of asked me. I was like, "Yo, I'm trying to join, but I got a felony." He's like, "Oh no, we waived that." He's like, "The army might not take it, but the Marines, we have a waiver for that." He's like, "What is it?" He's like, "It's like a drug charge." He goes like, "Is it a sale? Distribution?" He's like, "Yeah." "Oh no, we can't take you."
Yeah, if
I was
you
like,
use drugs, they could.
Yeah, if you're a drug addict, but if you're a drug dealer, they won't take you. So I had a drug sale, so it's like, "Yo, you can't be in the army." So I was like, "All right." And then, it was just like, this shit is really rough. Like there was a lot of things I've tried to do, and because like I can't go to Canada, you know what I mean? Like when people are like, "Oh, JFL for comic," that's not even on my mind, bro. Like, cause I could never get up there. I can't go to certain countries because of my charge, and it's violent charges. So I heard there's a way. But like you have to go through the consulate, show like, "Yeah, that happened in 2015. I was on drugs, blah blah. I've been good, I'm behaving and shit." I haven't got arrested since 2015. So like 6 years that I've chose. So 4 more years, I can go reopen the cases, and hopefully, get that shit off my record.
Wow. So, what do you think was the? You think what the catalyst to the one bad decision after next? Do you think it was just the drugs, or was it like it was just because of the drugs? The work was scarce, and then you were getting more involved with this. Like, why do you think that cycle repeated itself?
It was almost like a snowball effect, and you don't realize you get caught up into that shit until it's too late, right? Like you're like, oh, when you're young, you're just getting high once a month or maybe every week, but it doesn't affect you. But now when you're older and it gets you build a tolerance for it. It's not the same. You're chasing those early on highs. Same thing with weed. I'm chasing that high that I had when I was 16, and I'm never gonna get that high again. But you still kind of chase that shit, and it slowly progresses. And then once you're like I was hanging out with like dirtbags when I was a teenager, right? And they attract other dirtbags. So it's just like you're just mingling in, mixing in, and then now you went to jail. Now you got locked up because you're fucking around, and when you're young, you almost look at that shit as a badge of honor. Oh, I was locked up. I just came home. You know what I mean? And you turn, and you come home, now you got a record. Now it's hard for you to get a job. Or you already got a taste of that fast money, and you're like, yo, I can't go work and make $400 a week and deal with this bullshit and then like struggle when I could just go and make $400 in like half a day. You know what I'm saying? Selling drugs. So at that point, it was just like you just know there's that way. Like, oh, I can make this. I can make $3,000 this week, and then you just go back to it. It's easier to do that. And then you're like, oh, I'm smarter this time. This I got caught this time because of this. I'll change it up next time. Oh, you know, I won't talk on the phones, or I'll be careful. Like, I only serve these people. I keep a close-knit circle and all this. And you set all these rules, but you realize there's no, like, especially now, bro, they have facial recognition.
I know, man. I mean,
hard to
you're
get
involved in some shit right now. I feel like it's so fucking hard. You gotta be super sophisticated.
Yeah. And then when you go to jail, now all you're doing is meeting other criminals, and you're connected.
Schooled, yeah.
Now I went in, a drug dealer, and now I'm finding out about credit card scams. And if I want to come home now, I can do credit cards, finding out bank robbing shit. Like, oh yeah, I got caught, I was doing this, I was doing that. You know, shit, I made like $50,000 in 1 month just passing notes to bank tellers.
Yo, you know what? I don't mean to cut you off. That was one crime. I never got involved with any, like, besides doing drugs.
Yeah.
Like, I never really got involved in to make money. I never did any crimes like robbery or whatever. But I have been mad tempted to hand the note to a bank teller because that shit seems so easy. And there was something like a thrill in it. I was like, there's definitely been a few occasions where I got like, close in my head, I don't know if it was close, but I definitely entertained it. Like, I could just write a note, going with a little mask, you know what I mean?
Yeah, do it on Halloween and shit while you got costume and makeup on.
Yeah, I mean, those sort of crimes during Halloween must go up during that time, right?
Yeah. Oh, dude, I don't. That's, you would think so, right? I would have thought like during the pandemic where everybody wearing masks, they're like, oh, we can wild out now.
I think it has. I think a lot of petty crimes though.
Yeah. But I think they're not even arresting people for petty crimes. Like, they're like letting shit like slide now, like because of bail reform. And you know, I didn't start comedy. I moved down there middle of like the summer 2016. I didn't start comedy till February of 2018. So I was there almost for like a year and a half before I started comedy. And then when I spent the whole 2017 telling people I was gonna start and just never did. Yeah, next month I'm gonna sign up. Next month. And then I came out here. I kind of had him like, oh, let me see if I bump into him. I never saw him. So I was like, yeah, he was fucking capping, man. He was motherfucker. He was just, and then I bump into him. I see him walking out the stand. It was probably like 2 months ago. And I was like, oh, you can't miss that motherfucker. He's walking out, big ass ran. I'm like, oh, shit. And then like he brought it up. He was like, yo, he's like, what are you doing? Like, I was like, yeah, I'm doing comedy for like 3 years. And now he's probably looking at me like, oh, this motherfucker's capping now. Like,
yeah.
And then like comics were coming and saying bye to him, and they knew who I was, and they were just like, he's probably like looking like, this motherfucker might be telling the truth. Wow. I might be able to believe this criminal.
That's awesome.
Yeah, bro. I remember I cried that day. I mean, I went home and I was like crying. I was like, yo, this shit is like, I was like, yo, this is what I knew. I was like, yo, this is my fucking path. Because like I said, man, I've never, everything comes back and bites me in the ass. This was the only thing that came back. And I was like, yo, this is a good thing. You know what I mean? Because, you know, I don't want to say nothing, but, I got a big announcement next September, for September. And like, a lot of things have just been kind of starting to click for me,
It's exciting, man.
Yeah.
I'm happy for you. What inspired the change? Like, how were you able to get clean? I went through a program, like an outpatient sort of thing, where I did it 3 times a week, and then the decrease did you do the same route?
Nah, it was just I went to jail and I couldn't get drugs.
That was it.
Yeah, that was it.
And then you like had enough.
Yeah. I relapsed again when I came home for a little bit. That wasn't my plan. It's just like everything. Like,
I don't think it's anyone's plan, right?
Yeah.
I mean, in your head, I'm getting high tonight, but it's like never the plan. Like,
No, I did it I relapsed on purpose. Like I came home, like my baby mother left me. You know what I mean? I was back. I was sleeping on the couch in my mother's house. I didn't have a car. I didn't have a job. I had no money. I came home to nothing. And then I'm just sitting over there. I was like, what the fuck? Like, this was not my plans when I came home. I thought it was going to be different. So I just kind of just said, fuck it. Like, I don't give a fuck no more. And I think I like went on like a month binge, and then something snapped. And I was just like, yo, I can't do this shit again. And then my aunt had offered me to go down there. But then my father was like, yo, listen, man. He's like, you can't keep doing this shit. He's like, yo, listen, I'll give you a car. I'll give you the first 2 months of the insurance. I'll give you a little bit of money, and I'll drive you down there if you leave and get out of here. So I left and ended up staying down there for like 3 years. Because at first, it was
Alabama.
I ended up staying down there for 3 years. And then like down there, I think, when they say the people, places, and things, I think being away from everything, like every past thing, like even my family, they're kind of a trigger and stuff like that. Like, I was over there and I kind of removed myself from like because everything was like a reminder of everything. You know what I mean? Like I get a job, I try to get a job, but then I see motherfuckers I used to hustle with, or somebody who I saw like was a bum and now he's getting money. I'm like over here with a Panera hat on making sandwiches. Oh, fuck this shit. He's like, yo, Geo, man, don't forget the pickles, bum ass nigga. And I'm like, fuck, man.
While he's sipping his soda.
Yeah. It was fucking $5,000 chain on. And I'm sitting, and that would fuck me up, and that would lead back to me hustling, or and then having drugs around me. I end up relapsing again, and it's just that cycle. So it helped me break that cycle, but also it made me realize because I was doing the right thing. Like I had my own place, I had my own, you know what I mean? I was paying all my bills, I was building my credit, I had a girlfriend, I had a good job that was working for Publix, down south. It's a good job. Especially for a fucking convict, you know what I mean? Yeah. So it was good. So in my mind, I'm like, oh, I'm doing everything right, but I still wasn't happy. And then I started smoking weed again. Almost, then I think I got coked out once, and then the Molly thing happened, and I saw myself almost going back to that again. And then a week later, once I started comedy, it was just like I never looked back. I'm like, oh shit.
How difficult is it for you to do stand up and not fuck around with any of that stuff? Or you don't really
it's
feel
easier. It's easier than you think, man. Because like even with drinking, bro, like I gave up drinking for July, and I thought it was gonna be hard.
So you could drink and not be enticed by that other shit.
Yeah, dude. I was at a poker table. I used to do this Penthouse show, and after they do poker, and you'll just see like, yo, Geo Perez, and they're just passing the plate of coke, and it's right there. And yeah, it gets tempting sometimes, but I just been through so many of those dark times that I'm like, I don't want to go through that with these people. You know what I mean? Like, not that it like it's just getting in the dark. And I know a lot of comics have, bonded through drugs and shit like that. I'd rather just do it.
It's all bullshit, by the way. Yeah. I know we say that, but it's all bullshit.
Yeah.
Like this,
it's
the
like
way you're going.
Bond. Like you said earlier,
it's more sustainable. Like if you look at it, all the great comics that are really pushing, turning over new material, like guys that we really respect that had longevity in the game, they're not getting fucked up like that.
Yeah.
The ones who were are dead. Yeah. And that's just the way it is. My boy, bringing up Giannis again, he said something that he's like, you're always gonna get a check for the shit you do. And that you're gonna get a check. You gotta pay the bill.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? It's like no matter with that shit.
Yeah.
We see it time and time again. So we're very candid with each other. We're just like very. So listen, we were at a show this last weekend. We're on our way to a show. It's like any other fucking gig, right? It's an outdoor venue, dome, fucking dope.
Sojo's.
Yeah, it was Sojo's. I didn't want to say it, but it's Sojo's, right? And it has nothing to do with his establishment.
Oh, okay, all right.
But but it happened there. So this is what happened. I go up, I do, I open up the show. We have the host, he does like 10, 15. I do like 20, 30. It's a decent night, like 100 and change in the audience. Giannis goes up. He's midway through his set. Prior to us getting on stage, we were told that there was an audience member who looked like he was on mushrooms. When you think of mushrooms, you always think, oh, someone acting silly, hallucinogen, hallucinating, silly shit, laughing a lot, I didn't think none of it.
Yeah.
I'm at the side of the dome, and I'm talking to Kanal, the host, and he says, dude, that guy behind you looks like a cartoon character. He wasn't actually in the under the dome. He was just outside of it.
Yeah.
He's sitting on a chair, and his girlfriend's kind of going back and forth. She looks worried, and his head is flopped over to the side like this. Like every muscle in his neck gave out.
Yeah.
And we take a closer look at him, and he's the color of the Simpson characters. Yellow.
Shit. Fucking anemic.
Dogs, we walked over to him. I was like, this shit don't look right. Oh, shit, someone says as they walk by, what's wrong with this guy? I was like, he looks like he's dead. He checks his pulse. He's not breathing. There's no pulse. We get him off the chair. They started performing CPR on him. Kanal runs onto the stage, gets Giannis off the stage. Giannis, I got to do an announcement. Does anyone here know CPR? Any medical professionals in the audience? We have an incident We put a partition, cover the guy.
Did he do it as Marisa?
Yo, I was like, yo, if you were...
That's that. We need a doctor right now.
That's
it. He's sober for him. If you don't got a doctor.
That's not classy. Fucking up my show by dying and shit.
What's the OD? That's not it.
That's not it. Luckily, he wasn't in character. He was this. The thing about, I was like, why would you do Marisa character in Royalsford, Pennsylvania? Like, there's like 4 Puerto Ricans that drove from Puerto Rico, from Philly, you know. And they want the character, but I was like, that's poor decision making. Just do it yourself. You can do the Marisa accent.
Oh,
Yo,
man.
dude.
So he did y'all bring him back to life? Did y'all get him back?
Nah, man. I think he passed away, bro.
Oh shit.
Wild,
man.
right?
Yo, that's how you know Giannis is funny, man. He's killing motherfuckers out there, man. He really killed them out there. He's killing them, man.
Yeah, I mean, you know,
Are we allowed to hit the vapes?
Yeah, I think that's fine. My producer listens to this. Shout out to Marshall, B Frank Network. We here. So just let me know, Marshall, if they can't vape here. We've had. Oh. No, that's fine. He'll let me know after. He doesn't live in the camera.
In the comments,
he like, pops out. He's behind the couch like that. Hey,
you're gonna hear the intercom. Turn that shit off.
Yeah. If you don't mind, can you discard that vape?
Yeah.
So, yeah, man. So I tell that story in full detail as a reminder is that there's a fucking problem, and the problem is in the world, right? But I'm a big advocate of changing your corner. Your corner is you. You know what I'm saying? Like, we look at this world like, oh, I got to change the world. You know, there's a lot of that shit going on. But I got to change my corner. My corner is me. Like, that's what I know. I got to change that shit. So my relationship with everyone I interact with is healthy. The relationship with myself. So if that's abstaining from drugs, alcohol, you know, and this dirtbag behavior, that's what I got to do. And you don't need any more reminders. I'm reminded, I'm doing stand-up, something I absolutely love. And this motherfucker, young guy, man, he was 31 years old. You know, yo, no one's exempt. You fuck around, you lay around. It's like it's inevitable.
Yeah.
In some form or another, it's gonna happen, man.
Yeah.
And you know, listen, maybe there's a miracle to the story, and they brought him to the hospital, and they brought him back to life. But from what I know, he passed away, and it was jarring because when that shit happened,
Giannis get back on stage and finish his set.
Giannis was like,
this is Pennsylvania. We don't give a fuck.
Yeah. Giannis went up. He was like, listen, I know I only did 25 minutes, but do I still get paid my full amount? The host went up on stage and he was like, hey guys, why they try to get that guy back to life, I have a DVD for sale, but you could just use your QR code. I'll walk you through it. I got my new comedy
merch?
album out.
The host said that?
Yeah, he was like, it's a QR code. So I can walk you through it if you need help. I know a lot of you Pennsylvanians are not very savvy in these parts.
Never mind that guy dying on the side right there.
Nah, he didn't say that shit. I'm fucking around. Maybe he did. Maybe he did it. You guys may never.
You never know. You just had to be there. Next time they're performing, go see them. In for a show. But like, you know, it's crazy because like now that like a lot of my family see that it's changed.
You said famous see?
What family? Wait, what? My family sees. My family sees.
Yo, I thought you were making up words after that
famously?
vape hit.
Yeah.
I was like, yo, not our famous see. I was like, is famous see like
famously.
A little
Famously.
bit famous?
A little famously.
You said fantasy?
No,
my
now
family
that my
sees.
fantasy is watching a guy die at my comedy show.
I had a seizure too. But then nothing tops the death.
At a show.
Of course, I was performing at a crowd. It was a late show, 12 motherfuckers in there, 4 of which are audience members that I train. They're like, I want to see you, Sergio. I'm like, I don't want you to come to this shit.
Yeah.
But they come anyway. I appreciate the support, but it's annoying when you got like a show like that and they're sitting in the front with those goofy ass faces like, we're here to support you. Yeah. And then one fucking girl in the audience starts having a seizure.
Oh, I thought you meant you had a seizure.
No, I didn't have a seizure. You know, I'm my bad. I didn't have a seizure. I had a seizure in the audience. There was a seizure. Right. I had an experience with someone in the audience having a seizure. So I'm like, yo, we can stop this shit. Does anyone know what's going on? It's like, oh, she's just having a seizure.
It's just a bit.
Yeah, I thought it was like, what the fuck? Like, her friends are just kind of like holding her down. And there's a guy with this fucking pompous attitude. He's like, yeah, it's just a seizure. She's having a seizure. I said, how do you know that? He says, I'm a doctor. I was like, then why aren't you doing some doctor shit?
Yeah, nigga, put your fingers in the mouth or some shit, nigga. Like,
Well, you're not supposed to do that.
oh, you gotta put something in their mouth.
Yeah,
right?
I think, and you know, I could be wrong, but that's like an old school way of getting them to not bite their tongue or swallow their tongue, which rarely happens.
Right.
So the best bet is to lay them down or let them go through it. But you don't want to put the finger in the mouth. That's old school. You'll get your finger cut off.
Right.
You'll be moving around like me.
Yeah, just carry a ball gag with you. And you gotta
Imagine someone just has that in their fucking
with a ball gag. Yo.
Yeah, so the seizure, death, yeah. I think I've seen it all. What were you gonna say though?
Oh yeah, no, but with the when I was talking about like my family, when they see that, because they know like, oh, this guy changed, and it wasn't like there was times where I changed, and like 6 months later I'm fucking up again. So this is like the longest I've been behaving myself, and so now like it's I'm a little older, and now I got younger cousins coming up. Or,
you also have a beautiful daughter that looks up to you.
Thank you. Yeah, oh, of course. Oh man, she records everything. She knows everything. She already
awesome,
brought
man.
up.
You have one kid.
Just one kid.
How old is she?
She just turned 9.
Oh wow, she's my daughter's age. I saw a great photo of her the dance recital.
Yeah.
So I was like, wow, she looks like around my daughter's age. They're right the same age.
Yeah.
It's a fun age.
Yeah, it's like, and especially like I always try to be as honest as I can with her with like advice and stuff. And like, but people always like my family will come to me and they'll be like, "Oh, talk to this person for me. He's acting up and blah blah." And like, what I realized through my own like journey or whatever is I didn't change because people were telling me to change. I changed because I wanted to. You know what I'm saying? Like the times I changed for other people, like, "Oh, let me stop this because my family's mad." But I don't, you know what I mean? I want to keep doing this. It would just lead back. You know what I mean? I'm going to jail. I'm going to stop. And I'm like, I'm going to get high one more time before I stop. And when you got that mentality, you're not stopping.
Yeah, for failure.
You're coming back. So, like, I heard this one guy say this, like, it was like on a radio thing. And he goes like, this is all I got to tell the youth. He's like, I'm not giving nobody advice. Y'all going to do what the fuck y'all want to do. So if you got a coffin or a jail cell waiting for you, don't let me stop you. And I was just like, yo, that shit like hit hard because I was like, yo, sometimes people subconsciously want to like self-sabotage. They might be sad or depressed, and instead of just putting a gun to their head, it's just like you're thinking I'm gonna slowly kill myself. And it almost felt like that when I was like at my lowest point with the drugs. I'm like, damn, yo, what? Like sometimes I'd be like, I just wish I just OD and don't wake up one morning. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, yo, this is gonna be my life. I felt like I was literally never gonna not be an addict. That's where my mentality was. So I feel like some people, like trying to get them to stop, you're just gonna push them like away more. Because if I'm getting high, and people always hit when you get the urge, just call me. I'm like, nigga, when I get the urge, I don't want to talk to you. If I call you, I'm going to definitely call my drug dealer afterwards. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to
if you delete their phone number, you'll go on Facebook and find them.
Bro. You know how many times I've done that?
Yeah.
Facebook, Instagram, or I'll show up at their house or show, you know what I mean? Yo,
I've deleted like drug dealers' numbers, and then I'm on Facebook like, hey, what's going on? They never get back to you in time.
Before, when you could check through the when you can go online, I don't know if you can still do that. You check your call log where the company sends you all the phone ups. I've requested those to find the number because I was like, oh, there it is.
Yeah.
And get it back.
Yo, you become an investigator.
Dude, like, what does that mean? But like, yo, this crackhead got up and made $20 for crack. Like, what's your excuse? You know what I mean? Like, and I think like my addictive personality transferred over to comedy. Because it became where, like, when I started, I wanted to hit every mic. I wanted to be on stage every time, everywhere. There wasn't much in Alabama, so I started traveling to Atlanta, started traveling to Nashville. Where else would I go? I think I went to South Carolina.
Did you have any weird experiences down south? Like, some real hicky spots? Did you ever do a stand-up like at a hick-ass redneck spot?
Yeah. I had this fat guy. He was like, he had a tee, the overalls, and everything. And he was just like yelling.
Was this at?
This was in Birmingham. This is
you got some old school racists down there.
And this is Birmingham is a little more liberal now. They have like a little more
but it's been down
hipsters,
south.
but like in general, like I lived in a straight up like when I used to tell people, "Oh, what town you live in?" Call me like, "Oh, damn."
It's backwoods.
a lot of backwoods, a lot of farmland and shit. My aunt went down there because of a church. They have like this big Catholic church down there. She
lived like in a
super
compound
sane
type shit.
Yeah, she's like a super sane Catholic. And
So
like
what happened with this guy?
So this guy was just he was just cursing, like he just kept yelling the whole time. And then I just went in on him.
Was he doing it the entire show?
The whole show. It was a mic, and he was just yelling the whole time. Like he didn't let me talk. And that's the first time I realized like I was trying to go back at him, and it got so weird that he just shut up and ended up just leaving. Cause I started just being a dickhead. Like he started yelling at me. As far as comedy, that's probably like the weirdest thing. I don't know. It wasn't like Alabama wasn't as crazy as I thought like it would be. You know what I mean? Like if I've hung out with like black people out there, and when I went to certain towns, you see the looks. Like me, I just get the confused look. Like,
Yeah.
What is he? You know what I mean? Like they want to be racist. Like I don't fucking know. It's a Mexican, Puerto Rican mix.
Yeah, is he Middle Eastern? Is he
Yeah,
one of those?
Middle Eastern, yeah. You know, a lot of people thought I was mixed. They're like, oh, I thought you was half black, half white. Because, you know, half black and white, they make Puerto Rican kids.
Yeah.
So it's just like, that's what they thought. But like, there's never been anything besides the meth thing that happened. I was probably the meth thing was probably like the weirdest thing that happened to me down there. But as far as comedy, just I don't think I've ever really dealt with like or seen any racist shit. Like a white comic went up and just said nigga at a mic, and I was hosting it, and I just panicked.
In what context?
He was like telling the story of somebody else saying it. And then I just had to light him, yeah. And it was like the mic I ran was basically like a black mic. It was all the people. It was like all the black comics in town that weren't welcome at the white mics because they felt like it was too cliquey and PC. So they would fuck with my shit because I'm like, yo, I'll let you rock. You say whatever you want. And there was probably like 8 black comics on the list and then him. But luckily nobody heard him. I was panicking because I was just like, oh shit. But they, nobody's paying attention. So I just run. I lit him. I was like this. I'm like, yo, it's over. He goes like, whoa, what did I do? And then he just started apologizing to everybody, to all the black comics, and like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, we weren't listening to you.
We weren't listening to you. But in my head, I thought they all heard him.
Yeah.
Because they were all on the side. But then the rest of the night, all he was doing was apologizing. He was mad drunk. Damn, I can't really think of any crazy things that happened besides the
Well, that's good. That's good. I just figured maybe like a rural place, you might find yourself in an area that just doesn't
like some deliverance shit.
Yeah, that's a scary fucking movie.
Yeah, squeal, piggy. Squeal, boy.
Yo, Geo, man, I appreciate your time, brother. You want to plug in anything? I know you got your own
yes.
independent shows popping off and all that stuff. So please plug it all in, the Instagram and any other outlets where people can reach you.
Well, I found out this, right? You type in Loudmouth on Facebook or Instagram, you can find me. And mouth is spelled M-O-U-F. That's I got my jersey, my Loudmouth shit, rep my shit today. And it's just like Loudmouth comedy is just, it's just kind of, I hate saying brand. You know what I mean? It's just like what I've been, the name of my first open mic. That's the name of my my comedy shows. Geo Perez 86 on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, if for the older people, for your older audience, you know what I mean? For the tias and the tios. That's Facebook, just Geo Perez, but Geo Perez. But that's all I got to promote. I got a show that I do at Combody with Derek Drescher. It's the last Friday of every month. But I got my link tree all on Instagram, my YouTube, all that. You follow me on Instagram, hit the tree link, and all my shit is right there.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, I appreciate
and that's
you,
it, man. Yo, I appreciate you sharing. And yeah, man, I can't wait to see Geo, man. I appreciate you, brother.
Thank you, bro.
Thank you. We out of here. DBS Podcast. Do me a favor, like, subscribe, comment. I know it's generic, but we need to do that in order for this shit to grow like a plant, like flowers, God. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. We out of here.